Morning.
Morning. Little Apocalyptica cover of Nothing Else Matters, which is such an amazing song by itself. But I've seen these guys live with their cellos, and it's amazing to watch them do this. So, but yeah, good morning, everybody.
Oh my gosh, I'm in the wrong account. Should we restart the space?
No,
Yeah. Oh my God, Lido. Lido.
just go with your Lido account. Hero can come
Okay,
in.
we have to move to the coffee cup account, guys.
Yeah, sorry, we're gonna restart the space. I was tweeting when I started the space and I wasn't paying attention.
So we're restarting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joker, what are you doing up here? We're gonna restart the space.
All right, everybody.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
came to complain
Move the
because
coffee
I'm
cup.
sitting there watching the Cardano Over Coffee profile, and I'm like, it's 9:34.
Okay,
Where's
I'm
this
logging you
space
on your
at?
complaint. Okay, BlockJock, I'm gonna get another 2 minutes of the sad song.
So you think it's a sad song? That's funny. It's a very heartfelt song, and do you know the words? You don't know the words.
I danced to that song. I know the words. Well,
Okay.
I know parts of the words.
Chamber orchestra.
You're making Lido cry. You're making coffee cup cry, BlockJock.
Oh man,
Nothing else matters.
Did Miley Cyrus just redo this song also with Yo-Yo Ma and a bunch of other fancy people?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Miley Cyrus just covered it just recently. Yes. Hmm?
Yeah, I aped into that for like a week when it came out.
So funny that you say that because when I heard she covered it, I wanted nothing to do with it. And then my buddy, who is extraordinarily Metallica, just like me, and he owns way more, stuff of Metallica stuff, right? He was like, "Oh, it's really good, dude." I'm like, "What? Come on, are you kidding me right now?"
I liked it, and Yo-Yo Ma is in there. I mean,
yeah.
If you like the cello people, you got cello. You
I
got all the
actually went
things.
to Copley Symphony Hall to watch these guys play. Really good. They killed it. So a lot of fun.
Wait. So did you ever listen
No,
to
I
it
have
or
not.
not
I've
yet?
still not listened to it. I have not let my ears hear that yet. So I've been a fan since
Yeah.
the 70s when it came out, so, or 80s, something
Uh-huh.
like that. Can't remember exactly. So Kill 'Em All came out, and huge fan. So, but yeah, yep. But it's a great rendition,
Nice.
is what I feel like. They're from Sweden as well, so like Lars, which is the drummer.
Hero, I'm so sorry we had to redo the tweet. Can you Oh, you did do it already. Great. Um, let's see. Let's see who retweeted this thing. Oh my gosh. DeFi Gen PR. DM me if you would like 100 million hotkey. Thanks for being the first to retweet the space. Um,
Oh, is that what we do now? Do we don't give out like fake stuff anymore?
no, I just thought I'd do a random giveaway to try to train people to retweet the space just in case there might be a random giveaway. Um, yes, DGen, who was first again? DeFi DGen PR. If you would like 100 million hotkey, DM me, please. Congratulations, and thanks for retweeting the space. What is Hotkey doing here?
Morning, Hockey.
I heard Hosky, so I had I was summoned. You could use the giveaway bot to force retweets and likes and shares. Um, I'll send you some instructions on how to do it, and that actually guarantees that anybody who retweets, comments, and all that gets a share of the pie.
Nice.
Ooh, please. Yes, actually, that's a great idea. You can just load that thing up in the morning.
I like his background music too. What's going on there behind that?
My son's practicing his piano, so.
Oh, cool.
So what's new? I haven't been in one of these in a while. I feel like I've been down since Switzerland.
Cardano rocked.
Oh yeah, well we know that.
He was in this space. You know what, Hosky, I want to let you know that you're on Army of Spies this morning, just in reference to an aristocracy of sorts having to do with Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, I guess it's easy to fix an aristocracy. Just request to speak and get up there.
That's what I
it's very simple.
Immediately thought as well. Yeah, like if you don't like just hearing the same people over and over again, request speaker.
Right, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that I would say is the space with Ardana was very controlled. Rick got up there. He let me up there, but I know that Dumpling and Monad and a few others had requested, but they weren't being let up. So when I DM'd Rick and said, hey, so-and-so is requesting, but they're not letting you guys up, that's when he finally brought the others up. So he was only letting people up, I think, that he wanted, which he made the mistake of letting me up, which means that then I got booted. And, of course, it was not an accident. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that. It's stupid.
Yo.
What's up?
What up, man? I just wanted to tell you that, did anybody tell you that we love you, man? I just wanted to tell you that I love you. Do you love me?
The feelings are not mutual. I'm sorry.
Man.
I'll be your proxy lover.
I felt that when they
I love you, man.
I felt that when they kicked you out of that AMA. So I just thought that I will let you know that I love you. I know it's the bear market. Your token is going to minus below zero. I just wanted to let you know that I love you, man. Don't give up.
Okay, well, the feeling's not mutual, but I'm okay with a Sub-Zero comment. That is acceptable.
Yeah, man. Yeah, stay safe.
Nice, bro.
For the record, I do not love Hotkey. I only barely tolerate the K9.
That should be that's acceptable. There's no need to show love here. Just tolerance is good enough sometimes.
Was it better than when he just barked? Apparently, for some, it was.
I missed you, Hosky. I definitely missed you.
I've been down. Like I'm not like sick, but I've just been so exhausted with the time zone change. Like getting there was awesome. I didn't feel any jet lag. Coming back for the last almost a week has been like I've been sleeping a lot, which is not normal. So I haven't been really active at all. So I kind of took last week off for the most part. Um,
So
still hopped
You
on a
looked
few spaces
adorable
to
on
cause some
the
chaos.
gala.
Thank you. I had that suit specially designed for the gala.
was it everything you thought it was going to be?
It was, I would dare say, I've been to all three of the Cardano events over the last few months, and I dare say that was the best one we've had.
It looked
Very nice.
amazing. I've definitely got FOMO big time.
Yeah, it was quite impressive. I mean, the production was amazing. Working with the backstage crew was also really good. They were very receptive, accommodating. I mean, when you let them know that there's going to be a giant dog backstage, and that they had to accommodate getting us in and out of backstage and all that, it was actually it was a lot of fun.
Nice, man. Do you get to enjoy any of the our surrounding area at all?
Yeah, we did do quite a bit of travel. My wife was with me. It was our 15-year anniversary, just coincided with that same month. And we got to travel quite a bit. The first 3 days we were there before the summit ever started. We went all over the place, and the views are just surreal. Like, even if you take a picture, it does not compare with actually being there. Like, your eyes are much better. And yeah, that was really enjoyable. It was probably like the first quote unquote vacation or break from the dog I've had for the last year.
How was the weather? Everybody
Nice.
looked like they were cozy, but not
It
freezing.
was it was the winter, and it's supposed to be like, there was a little bit of rain and a little bit of like snow, but no, the weather was like amazing. Like, I had a light jacket, and that's all I really needed for the entire trip. It
Yeah,
was
that's what I
actually
noticed. People
it was
were wearing
actually
like big jackets.
not bad at all. We also stayed right next to the convention center, which makes it convenient. Not a lot of travel, but I was impressed by their transportation system. That was actually pretty amazing to just hop from one train to another.
So I have a question for you surrounding the deal with Liquid and Indigo, or DC really and Indigo, not Liquid and Indigo. But the one thing that escapes me is that if he sold the 10%, right, because he couldn't figure out how to stake, and then just got caught up in FOMO apparently, and then sold his 10% that he had. That was at least
Four
the reason.
percent, 4%.
4%. Well, okay, but it was, I think, 10% of his total take, or 4%, whatever the case may be. But anyway, but he forfeited now the other amount by doing so. The team has now said that that's what's happening. So somehow or another, I'm like,
Wait.
why
He
would you do that?
sold the amount that was vested.
Yeah, and the rest of it that he was supposed to get, I guess there's 10 separate increments or something like that. And I might be a little off on this. But
Okay,
he
BlockJock.
ended
This
up,
seems like hearsay, okay?
no,
Because
this
this
isn't
is not
hearsay.
how vesting work.
This
When your
is
shares are vested, you can do whatever you
right.
want.
Right. There's been a statement that's come out from Indigo team stating that they are that the other portion of that token from DC is not being given now.
That
Apparently,
seems silly.
Yes.
If the tokens were vested, then that means that those tokens were his to do as he pleases. Am I a fan
well,
of the dump? No, but if they were vested, by definition, those are his tokens to do as he pleases with for
so here's
whatever
the other
work he
side of
did.
that. It was a verbal agreement,
Yeah,
and
well,
we
that's stupid because verbal agreements have really no place in a court of law, so you can't defend
right.
that. So yeah,
What's the point of giving someone a Cardano native token when you have a smart contract that can
I
control
don't
it
know.
and say don't spend it? That makes zero sense.
Well, like you said, he was one of the original. He had the idea when the other co-creator came in and said, "Yeah, we want to do this." He goes, "Why don't we do a synthetic?" So it was his idea to actually do all that. That was at least the story he told.
Is there a tweet for this statement? Because this seems shady.
You need to look it up. But there was something put out by Indigo that surrounding that. So I did read that. So the other portion of that has been um, what he was supposed to receive has now been retracted, I guess. So I don't know. It seems weird to me, the whole idea of that, but these are 30-somethings making decisions. So I'm not surprised, and I know I'm going to see more of these in the future, because these are 30-somethings that are millionaires that are making decisions, and we're going to see some bad decisions in there. It just is what it is.
Stop flooding my personality, BlockJock. And don't hate because I'm young, okay?
No. Age experience. That's all it is, man. You just life experience, and it's understandable. I get it. Shoot, you kidding me?
BlockJock, where are your millions?
I know, right? He's just jealous that he doesn't have millions.
No, well, it would be nice to have millions, but I don't grasp at it. It'll come. I know it will. So I have no problem with that. It's just the way I operate.
Is experience a biological thing or an actual experience thing?
No, it just gives you better judgment going forward. So
No. I'm saying, is it a biological thing, or is it can a 30-year-old have more experience than a 50-year-old?
Well, if you believe in past lives and those experiential things that happen, maybe, potentially, I don't know, but no, just in regular years.
I would say
it depends what that 30-year-old did in their lifetime.
Right.
True.
It depends on the field.
Like,
if there's a physicist, they'll have more experience in that than me, even if they're 20. It depends on the area that you're talking about. General life experience helps, maturity helps as you get older, but experiences in certain fields, I think that's a totally different story.
Agree.
Oh.
And he actually had some early success, like he talked about. Ryan did. Not DC I'm talking about now. I'm talking about Ryan, having to do with Cardano and the fact that he had got in early on ETH and made a bunch of money, and then put his own money into it. So there's part of me, and I know not everybody loves what happened with Cardano, especially those who lost money. I get all that. But the guy was pouring his own money into it as well, which typically does not happen. Usually people let other people's money.
Wait, you're telling me 10 million wasn't enough that he poured his own money into it? That seems silly.
I think with Ryan, no, I'm not saying, I'm talking about Ryan now, not DC. DC was an entirely different subject. So it's just experience, right? And obviously Ryan felt very engaged and wanted to make sure that project succeeded no matter what. So
I'm not buying
money into Orbis.
The bunch of money from where, though? The money that he was paid from the same fund?
No, his money, his own personal money.
How did that become his money?
Early. He got into ETH early.
ETH. Okay.
Yeah, he got in right at the beginning of ETH and did really well with it. So from that, he then took his own money and found himself, being a part of something else.
Well, when he sent me, when I see the transaction on the blockchain, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to step back and say, you guys are talking about these gentleman agreements. It seems to be that a lot of these gentlemen's agreements are related to regulation in one way or another. So avoiding it or trying to give a taxable event in a later period, that's what seems to be happening with a lot of these gentlemen's agreements, FYI.
So the impetus for it really is to ensure that they just cannot be brought into a court of law. Got it.
Yeah, give or take somewhere around there. I'm not saying this is specifically about the Indigo and DC things and stuff like that, but from what I've seen and from the people I've talked to, it's typically we do a gentleman's agreement because we don't want to put coins into a smart contract because then that becomes a taxable event and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I feel like with Cardano, it wasn't an intentional rug. It was just got to the point where I think they realized they were in trouble and didn't know who to talk to or ask, apparently, and made some really horrible decisions, obviously, prior to that, and didn't go back to C-Fund because obviously Charles didn't even know about it,
Is there such a thing as an unintentional rug? If it wasn't intentional, then it's not a rug, right?
Yeah, it's just a failed project then.
Failed project, right.
We should avoid saying that things are rugs if we don't believe that they're actually malicious in intent. So if the community believes that Cardano was not malicious in intent, it should be just a failed project.
Well, it helps for the community to believe that if we actually get wallets and blockchain records, right? I feel like until that's published, it's hard to believe there was not malice.
This is where I send the eye emoji.
It's good that we discern between the two, though, because ultimately sometimes people have the best of intentions and are trying to build on here, and just from experience or just a horrible set of circumstances, like a bear market that's just crushing everybody, they don't make it. And it wasn't that they intended
okay.
to.
Here's the thing, right? In the regular world, when businesses fail and they have these obligations, they typically have to go through this bankruptcy procedure, right, of some sort.
Not in
And through
crypto.
that, um, and through that, people get to see all the records. They get to see everything, right? And people know, and that's how the judges or whatever municipality can then say, okay, there was no malice, there was no fraud. This is so. I feel like crypto should have an even higher standard than that, given that's the promise, right? That everything is on the blockchain, is
Right.
immutable, it's inspectable. So if someone is saying, "Oh, this is not a rug, it's a failed project," there should be a process, right? They should be able to explain that here are the wallet, here are the transaction, go do your due diligence. We're sorry, blah blah blah. But to just say you're sorry and then leave a shroud of,
Well,
unanswered
so
questions is like,
here's where it gets really good. So this is a question for the audience. Good decision or bad decision, Ryan deciding to take and out of his own pocket pay everybody back for any NFTs that were sold having to do with the project, the NFT project they were putting out. And he did express that it was not a small amount of money that he was going to be giving out personally.
did he provide a wallet address?
He did not, but he did say that he was going to do it. Now, it sounds to me that he is going to keep to his word and do it, but you never know. He might just take the money
What
and
do you mean it
run.
sounds to you?
Well, from his
What is
words, what he said he was going to do, right? So we
Okay,
can
are you
only take
sure
him at
this
his
is
word
blockchain?
currently.
Blockchain? You can't take him at his
I
word. This is
know,
blockchain.
I know, but I'd like to be able to
Well,
take people
I
at their
I
word.
wouldn't want I can't just sit here and have you perpetuate some nonsense that's not backed by the blockchain.
Well, I'm just saying hypothetically now. Like, let's say you're part of a project and there was something that was coming out, and then you failed. You didn't even know something happened, and boom, you failed. Right? There was something that went
Well,
out that
can we
people
wait
just
till
put
it
money into.
happens?
Well, yeah, no, we
Exactly,
can
right,
wait till it
Joker?
happens. But what I'm trying to get across is the question is whether or not if you were the project lead or owner, would you actually even offer that?
I think
It
I think it's a,
depends.
I think it's a noble
If I
effort,
felt
but
really guilty, yeah.
I think it's a noble effort, but I don't know how how easy that is to actually do in reality.
And I don't even know if we can judge the nobility again until we see the transactions on chain.
Well, no, but we're talking hypotheticals here. Like he definitely offered
Okay.
it in the space that he's running by himself, basically,
Mhm.
and gave up that, saying, "I will be doing this," and it's no small number, he said, because he apparently has an idea of what he's going to be paying back, and he still says, "I'm going to do it." Does he do it or not? I don't know, but the offer's up, right? He doesn't have to do any of that. He can just take the money and run. He just take off.
I think if he actually does it, that might really signify that it's a failed project, not a rug. Like that might be like the nail in the
If he
coffin, if you will.
does it exactly and provide those
Agreed.
transactions, say, okay,
Right.
I did it. Here's the thing. Sorry. Again, the words don't mean shit until the transaction comes.
Well, no, but in crypto, so cutthroat, right? And everybody says, "Oh, you rug, ha ha ha! You lost money, ha ha ha!" This whole thing, right? That's so sad. Too bad, so sad, right? So the guy actually offering it, would you, as a project lead or owner, actually even do that? That's what I'm curious about with others. I know I would make every attempt to pay back anybody that I owed because it's just within me personally that the whole failure idea and the ability to be able to make sure other people get taken care of because I was responsible for the failure, not anybody else. I would make sure I paid everybody back, but that's me. Not everybody's like that.
Those are nice words, but where are your transactions at?
Exactly. And this is the thing, like, is this conversation is hypothetical, is just distasteful to think about BlockJock because
Right.
it almost like excuses the whole situation. Like it's hard to have this conversation, right?
Right.
What's up, Good Rush?
So, I find it admirable that he's willing to do these refunds, but seriously, like in real business, like in the court of law, if you were to dig into your pocket and pay back the customers or the clients or whatever for some malfeasance or whatever, it doesn't really even matter if you have an LLC or whatever. You're kind of going on record saying it's my fault and I accept liability, right? By paying these people out. Does that make sense? Or I'm not an attorney, but has anybody else ever encountered a situation like that?
It does. Now there's witnesses too. I think there was like maybe 150 of them. So
I'm not an attorney, but maybe CNFT knows. CNFT CNFT guy, what's up?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. For me, it's good afternoon already. But still, you can say whatever you like. But if I put my money in a project and a project promised me X, Y, Z, and only delivers X and Y, then for me it's a rug pull. If you don't deliver Z, you got to deliver Z because you told me you're going to deliver it. And if you deliver it and then it fails, and then we all see it isn't going nowhere, yeah, then it's okay. Then it's not a rock pool. But if you only deliver X or Y, and then you go away, nah. Then
So,
you
do you see Exervis? God, I can't even say it right. Point though, having to do with the if we differentiate between a rug pull and a failed project.
a
You see
failed
what he's trying
project.
to?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
failed project is a project that does everything that it promised to deliver, and if it delivers it and it isn't successful, then it's a failed project. But if you don't
Well,
deliver
but
it even,
you can fail anywhere along the runway, though.
yeah,
It's not like you just run out of money. The CTO leaves. You know what I mean? Whatever, right? You
yes,
could,
but then you
somebody
overpromised.
dies. I mean, there's a variety of things that can happen.
Yes, but those are things that nobody would expect. If somebody dies, okay. If a CTO leaves, you have to find another CTO. That's not my problem because you already have the money. All right, if the CTO run away with all the money, then it's also another story. Then we know it, and then he has to
Well,
come with the records and show it, or else it's just
somebody
another
runs
rug
with the
pull.
money, kind of like Flick 2, right? Was it Flick 2? Yeah. So he ran, took a bunch of the money and took off,
Yeah,
left a bunch of other guys living in a condo.
yeah. Then we can see it on the
Yeah.
blockchain that somebody moves a lot of ADA to another wallet or something, and then all right, he runs away with the money. But then it's still a rock pool.
Well, no, that's definitely a rug pull at that point for
Yeah,
sure. I'm just we're talking more like trying to differentiate so we could create
yeah.
not just rug pulls for everything, right?
No, but
Because we need to
yes,
differentiate there.
yes, but we don't have a court of law to go to. So if a project succeeded,
Right.
doesn't succeed, and it overpromises, then it's just a rock pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, folks, you're listening to Cardano Over Coffee. BlockJock is trying to give Ryan a pass. We're here Monday to
No.
Friday. No, I'm kidding. Monday to Friday.
A little bit. But yeah, at the same time, it's yeah. Go.
Let me finish my reset, please, and then you can defend yourself. We're here Monday through Friday from 2:30 p.m. UTC. Every Monday we don't have guests. It's just open discussion, open topics. So if you're vibing with the current conversation, come up, add to it, or just enjoy it. If you're not vibing with it, come up and change the subject. So there, you're in control.
I'm gonna say, I don't even, it ain't even no need to even try to justify what Ardana done did, bruh. At the end of the day, the way he kicked Hosky down and he was kicking people out, bruh. He was avoiding questions, bruh. That's literally like,
Yeah, I missed that one. I missed
yeah.
that show. He was doing a one by himself, but where he had
And
complete control. But I
even
missed the other one.
blue collar, he kicked blue collar off the stage like quick. And blue collar, I know he ain't a biased type person. He kicked him off the
Yeah.
stage like, bro. That's
All
Well,
I'm
yeah.
ownership
trying
right
to
there.
all
Blue's
I'm
up
trying to
here.
get
Good.
at all I'm trying to get at though is that so we have two different mentalities. There's a mob mentality, which is pitchforks, everybody running at them and putting them to the stake and burning the witch, right? And which didn't really go well as
And
far as
then,
proof of
man,
history goes, right?
the kid is 23
So
years old.
no, I know,
That's another
and
thing.
he'll survive and he'll be all right. For 23, he's been more successful than most of us are probably
I
on the stage right now.
guarantee you, he ain't never touched that much money in his life. So, like, that's my
Well,
thing.
he
That
had
dude
that
don't
money
know what
going
to
in
do.
though.
Man,
That's the thing.
that dude ain't had no money. But go ahead.
He had
Again,
that money
that's
going
just
in.
hearsay, BlockJock.
Yeah.
That's not a
I don't know.
fact. You're saying it like it's
Well, it's
such a
not a
fact.
fact. It's just what he stated. That's correct.
And why would we take anything from anybody that says I have a shit ton of money? Do
What
you
do you
believe
want?
me?
Yeah. No. I know you're doing all right though.
I myself, I can tell you right now that I got Bitcoin when it was $1. That doesn't mean anything. What's
Right. I
up, Blue
just take two
Collar?
different responses. One's mob mentality. One's like, let's think this thing through. What went wrong? What went right? And how we can be better. That's what I like.
What Lido's not telling you is he got Bitcoin at $1 but sold it at 30 cents.
Exactly. That's why we have the Lido minute.
Shit. Haven't we all done that? Come on.
Oh, what's up, Blue
Blue
Collar?
Collar, what do you have to say about all this? Because I know that you have a lot to say.
I always have a lot to say. One, I think it's kind of asinine to say the guy's more successful than most of us. Is all he's been successful at doing is launching projects, raising a bunch of capital, and then closing the projects afterwards. To make the guy out to be a good guy, I think that this was intention for a long time. I personally had been asking him about things related to this back in July, and just few days before he announced the rug pull, he tore people down, saying that it was out of line to say they're out of funding. When we were asking him about it, they have miles and miles of runway funded, all this stuff built, yada yada yada. Just a couple days before his NFT release, which was not accurate by any means. He said in January, their stable coin and all this stuff was ready. It wasn't. A month ago or whatever, they pushed the stable coin to next year, then moved it back to this year. It was the whole time. The guy's a silver tongue. He knows how to get investors to just drop money to him. He's got some major issues, but the guy's a scammer. End of the day, you don't sit there and try to convince investors to put more money into your project when you know you're out of it, just to come out and then pull the plug on it a couple days later.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that even though I wasn't like following their project, because I didn't really invest in that, I'm a bit more skeptical than a lot of people when it comes down to this. But I did notice that it's been a while that a lot of people have been worried about this. So a lot of people saw some red flags, and it would be nice for those people to share them, because this was kind of like I was approached by a lot of people that told me this for a long, long time, and it turned out to be kind of true, so I don't know.
I think by comparison, I just pinned a tweet from Sebastian and DC Spark, where he talked, that's somebody who we can say has done a lot for the ecosystem. And he's saying that 10 million is actually more than everything they've done on Cardano. And I mean, other than Plutarch, is there anything else that Cardano delivered? I don't believe so. And I don't think Plutarch is worth $10 million.
Well, and
especially
right?
since Plutarch was not a pure Cardano project, Liquid contributed to that, ADAO contributed to that. Catalyst paid for some of that.
And what Jenny brings up is relatively important. So, when you hear something, right, do you immediately go out on Twitter and just say, oh, they're out of money? You're like, no, you got to do some research, right? So then you're caught in the middle. Like, I just heard something that may be true and will impact, thousands of people, right? But, am I fudding right now? And
that's what I mean, right? Everybody comes to me like it's a rug, but give you reason why, and then that's what nobody paid attention. It just felt like it was more like fun, which we get a lot. So it would be nice if we have a way to share this so we can make it a little more real. Like, what are the real red flags?
I'm not one to I don't want to go on Twitter fudding stuff. I know a lot of FUD that I hear is just misinformation. It can be cleared up. Right. And that's exactly what I did with Ryan. Was in a private group, straight up asked him, and he basically tore us apart for even suggesting that they were out of money and thought it was just completely asinine, which to me just tells me all I need to know right there. Because if there was even some funding issues to tell people that you have, years of funded roadway ahead of you and all this stuff like that, and basically more or less tear down their character for suggesting it, then, it's a very scam-like thing to do when you silence the critics and don't actually provide anything but misleading statements and flat-out lies.
Right. So
I didn't go to Twitter and post anything until after that space. I put a screenshot on one one of Monad's statuses that showed him saying it, just so there was a receipt of it. Before that, I had never posted anything publicly.
So there's something going on right now with a particular group that is on the fringe as far as the DEX goes, and I'm not going to give which one it is, but I put out in a tweet telling everybody to
Which
do
one
their own
is it,
research.
BlockJock?
Okay, so I put out a tweet, so I named them. So there was somebody that came into Muesli's Discord.
Can you pin the tweet to the top?
I can. Yeah, it's having to do with ADAX. So, and they had some issues with ADAX. Now, all I did was say, hey, I tagged ADAX. I said, this guy's having some problems. Maybe you should address it. You know, whoever's handling their Twitter page or their Discord should handle all that, right? And jump on it. No one's responded at all to it, which suggests either one, they're not very good at handling, customer issue, or two, it may potentially be true, surrounding some ish. ADAX may be having some problems, right? But I also put in there, do your own research, make sure you check this all out. This could not be true, and I'm just waiting for a response. But this is when you got to jump in as a project and stamp out fires as people are starting to talk about you. And for some reason, for whatever reason, people aren't doing that. Makes no sense.
Okay,
Exactly.
so can we go ahead, Big Bags? What is that? What are you doing, Emmanuel?
I just want to interrupt your broadcast with the breaking news.
Love it.
I was going to say what BlockJock said is right.
Let's freaking go.
I believe it's cool to post it on Twitter, but if you ain't got no fact, then you ain't got to throw it out there as a fact. But if you got a problem or you see something that's a questionable, I mean, if you put it on in public as a questionable manner, then the project should be able to get back with you. And I mean, you can go in the Discord first and do it like that or whatever, but it may be other people with that problem. So, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with putting anything on Twitter as long as you don't come out with a fact when you don't know it's a fact. Simple as that.
Well, we actually had a project here Friday. It's called, what is it? Like dynamic rating score?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? That supposedly it's precisely for people to give ratings to projects. And I actually missed it. I was busy all weekend. But that's definitely worth checking out, I think.
Jenny, are you talking about Exuberus?
Yes. Zuberus or Exuberus or
right, how you say it.
XE,
but Emmanuel had
XE people.
He had like urgent news to share, I guess.
And
by the way,
I'm looking at it now at the pin at the top.
Just look at the jumbotron.
Ghana win.
Ghana won a game finally. Nice.
Ghana government paid for that soccer game, didn't it?
Dude, man, I might become a soccer fan. Okay, football. Sorry for everybody that's really into it, But yeah, because I am 1%. I got 1% Ghana in my ancestry, man. So I got to go over there and check out my homeland.
That is a lie. Stop! Don't believe that.
No, it's in my DNA.
I knew we were connected. I knew.
Yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
BlockJock, I'm not believing this until I see it on the blockchain. Can you make?
Can we use a clip? Can we use this as a clip where BlockJock? It's like
proof of ancestry.
Exactly, proof of ancestry. BlockJock.
I will pin it to the top. I'll post it.
Oh, great. This is good.
But with everything going on, this whole Ardana thing, I'm trying my best to really just ignore it now that the damage is done. Because for some of us, we've called this, we had entire sessions about this. We spoke with people about this, and you can't save everyone. I'm coming to come to terms with eventually. People ask, why didn't you just go all around, tweet on your Twitter every single day that this was going to happen, or these people had this track record, that kind of thing? It's well, A, protect your peace. 2, pick your battles. And 3, just let fucking around and find out. Just take its course. Just set a reminder, turn around, and see how it goes. For some of us, we're not usually wrong, but when we're wrong, it's a different kind of story. So, to all those in the comment, those on the chats, those up on stage, those listening who I've had different conversations with about this issue, people in the CF, people in IO, people in the Mugo. So it's the key people I felt had to be aware. And when the opportunity came for the public and the community to know, we had that discussion on Cardano Over Coffee. I spoke with SPOs about this. I spoke with Linda, we had a long conversation about this because Linda was one of the pools behind the whole thingy. Right? I was like, hey, those with ES let them here, but at the end you can't save everyone. So the general statement is let this be a learning experience for everyone. But as Cardano grows, you know, it's like think about the X-Men, all right? Charles can't get every mutant to join the X-Man. He can't get every mutant to join like the X-Mansion, you know, but he's gonna give them the opportunity to like, you know, do what they want to do, and when it's time they can come in. So it's like, you know, do your best, but you can't save everyone, pretty much. Look what happens to Spider-Man when he tries doing that. But yeah, all we have to do is just be a bit more, you know, critical in a lot of things we do. Not be cynics per se, but be more critical and also know which battles to pick. Like I was telling Monad the other day, I was like, he's got his own like critiques about certain projects. I'm like, dude, just you know, lay down your thoughts, set a reminder down, and come back a year after to see if you were right or wrong. But yeah, shouts to everyone. Yo, shouts to Ghana for this win today. You know, I started my day early, and this is like a big win for today. It's a holiday for me. Shouts to everyone. And I'm done.
Shout outs. Good morning, Ionette. You're back. It's been a while. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Jenny? How are you?
Brandon, nice seeing you.
It's a long time no see, yeah? Well, we had a small talk in the DM, but yeah, I was not on stage with you for a very long time. I think it's a year or something, or no, half a year.
Oh,
But
you haven't done any spaces in that long? Wow.
yeah,
I keep track because like we grew so much as a community that there's a lot of people. I mean, that I just assume everybody's just doing spaces and other spaces and kind of stuff like that.
yeah, and if Big Joe is on stage, then the group is again together, you know, because I really missed it. And yeah, I was very busy, Cardano. I was very busy with the project Dadas. Um, so of course I'm now on stage also to promote it a little bit. Well, especially the giveaway because we revealed the first data on stage, the Cardano Summit Amsterdam Saturday, and that was a success. So it was, of course, a little bit, yeah, showing your baby, you know, that kind of feeling. And well, people were applauding and came to us and were very enthusiastic about it. And yeah, the first data we reveal is a giveaway. So we give it away, and that lasts till 11 p.m. this today. So maybe I can pin it up if you like me to do so.
Yeah, pin it up. Did you pin it up?
I do have my ancestry up there, but yes, definitely.
No.
Pin it up.
Cool.
Let's go.
What I can tell about it is it's like 1111 datas will be officially minted in March. And the pre-mint will be between Christmas and New Year's Eve. And that will be 50 datas we will pre-mint. And data is a combination of a portrait, so it's a PFP project, portrait and existing art.
1 second, Ionette. How do you do the breaking news thing? So this is great, and it's great that we have the pin.
Mm-hmm.
But today is open discussion, open topics day, and sort of a no chill free day.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
I didn't know. Sorry. What is the
no
topic?
worries.
Then I will change the subject.
Yes, if you do want to come on, you can check out the PFP and book a 25-minute slot, and we can hear all about the draft.
Yeah, we have a lot of spaces out, and I can send you the link, but it's pinned up at the top.
It's fine. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it'd be cool to have you up for actually on the show during the pre-mint. If you actually booked a slot, that would be amazing. Yeah.
If you can send me the link, Jenny, I will try to make a reservation for that one. That would be cool.
I'll send it to you right now. We'll definitely love to talk more.
Perfect.
Let's take
But
and
I'm,
chat
of
with
course,
us. This is like Mondays. We do like banter and we talk Cardano, all kinds of stuff. So stick around and talk to us.
So what is the subject today? I have an opinion about everything, so I can easily
Why don't we
anticipate.
start with what's been on your mind lately? Like as in like what's the strongest thing on the top of your list like lately with regards to, I don't know, Cardano, crypto, anything. Give us something
Well,
spicy maybe.
yeah, well, I'm a little bit, well, let's say, I'm honest now. I'm a little bit worried because of Elon Musk and the whole Twitter thing and how Charles is responding on that. I'm a little bit worried because I like Elon Musk with everything he did, and I think he's brilliant. He's some sort of Leonardo da Vinci, I don't know, 2022. So I really like it. But there are also some things happening which I don't like in the space and in the Twitter space, I mean, in general. And then I see that Charles is really trying to hook up with Elon. And then I'm thinking like, okay, which way is this going? Maybe someone in the room can emphasize on that because I don't know what he wants, what is his desire? Do he want to participate with, how do you say, collaborate with Elon Musk in the Doge thing? And I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me something about it.
I think Charles is just shilling his new midnight blockchain.
Exactly. That's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he's just trying to secure
without
his
announcing
bags.
it. He literally, and that was when he was talking about that, it was the announcement for midnight. So he was so, he's like me. Surprises are horrible to keep, very difficult to maintain because you're so excited about it, So yeah, that was, I think, the intent.
Yeah, because I think it's a very good idea that content can be paid for in crypto. I think that is brilliant. I would love that. So I can imagine that will be a very good step forward to for the mainstream to adapt to crypto. What do you think about that?
Let's go to AGC. You had your hand up and you took it out. Do you want to comment on this and then maybe get into why you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'll comment on it. Definitely, I think Elon has good intentions for Twitter, and I've only seen it improve since he took over. Him adding crypto rails is, I think, in his roadmap. So definitely a good thing. If we can get ADA on there, that'd just be cherry on top.
Wait. What improvement have you seen?
Well, my Twitter feed is a lot better now. I don't know if you've noticed on your feed.
It's called confirmation bias, Lido. It's how the brain works.
Great. The algorithm's letting us know that it's doing well. Great.
I'm no longer getting notifications that my tweets are unpopular opinions, and most people don't leave tweets like that. That's one thing that I've noticed.
Maybe you
and I've noticed that some other accounts that I had not been seeing posts from are actually starting to have posts. Like I'm seeing their posts again.
So I want to add in a little to that. Pyra, do you want to go? Maybe.
Nah, you spoke before me. I was gonna say that my tweets still say people don't tweet like this, but that's usually because I'm cussing. So.
Oh man. So when Elon took control, he started, kind of cutting down on costs. So, well, we saw a lot of that in a lot of the employees getting, getting fired and everything. But one of the other things that he did was also shut down a lot of microservices and a lot of, other, infrastructure services. And these services kind of optimized Twitter in a certain way. They were costly, but they did offer certain optimizations. They did kind of, give the algorithms the boost they needed in different aspects, be it in marketing, be it in, I don't know, the social stuff, be it in whatever. So given how much of the microservices Elon has decided to kind of start eliminating, definitely has and will continue to impact the user flow we have and we enjoy. So it might not impact us heavily in the US side because remember, US Twitter is still significantly different from Korea Twitter or Japan Twitter or India Twitter or South America Twitter. And in fact, a lot of people in Hong Kong and places around Asia already started commenting on how these recent changes, especially to microservices, have already started greatly impacted them and how they kind of receive information, how the applications, like on the Android and iOS devices, react. So we're kind of lucky in a way being in the US side because we're less likely to kind of take the brunt or the messy end of the stick. That's the concern. But then also look at the other things. Generally, we don't know what the main roadmap for Twitter 2.0 is. Elon put out some tweets about a few ideas and everything. But then there's one thing that we know for sure. Elon is focused on privacy preservation. He's focused on end-to-end encryption within our DMs. Currently, our DMs, so maybe before he jumped in, our DMs were completely open to whatever network admin was out there. But then, with what he's focused on how can we ensure massive encryption, and how can we kind of bring in more monetization to individual people. And that's something that Twitter hasn't done, in a way pretty well. They've experimented with super followers and so many other things, but Elon wants to kind of put that on steroids. With regards to payments, in Elon's recent post, payments was very blank. I even wanted to make a meme out of that, put Cardano in there. But then if you look at the old emails that Elon had with various execs, before he bought Twitter and everything, he has alluded to the fact that this dude knows he knows just as much about blockchain as the average person. Make no mistake, the dude is smart and everything, but he's alluded in various emails of blockchain, he doesn't really get it. He doesn't get it the way you think, I don't know, Charles Hoskinson will get it, or Vitalik Buterin will get it, or so many other people will get it. For him, he just gets a part of it. And that's why, people have to realize when he says Doge is a joke, when he's playing with Doge, it's a meme, it gets people going. He actually means it because he's not thinking in depth about that. So I think we're still yet to see a lot of what Elon will do with payments, in particular, and how blockchains will factor in. There's a lot of work. Another thing to look forward to is the fact that one of the major things he put on his public manifesto, many public manifestos, is how he wants to make Twitter an open source platform. So pretty much opening up a bunch of APIs, pretty much, what was the name? Making a lot of bits of the code source available. I don't know about the licenses around it, but making it such that people can even build their own interfaces around them. People can interact with Twitter differently. But then he still has to deal with bots and everything. So that's this other, thing to figure out. So yeah, for Twitter 2.0, there's a lot we're yet to see. And I think what we're just lacking is a formal thing. I keep track of this person called Jane Won Chung. She's pretty much this one person who I'm a big fan of. And she spends her time just opening up the code for Twitter, either for iOS or Android or PC or whatever. She just keeps tinkering through the code, and she usually gets a lot of alpha within the code before stuff rolls out publicly. So I'll find her tweet, her Twitter pin up top. But I recommend people following her just to keep track of a lot of the stuff, because she'll stay up 24/7 just to see what new stuff people post into the Twitter code base. So yeah, and that's in terms of Charles, the dude is chasing his bag. He runs a tech company. He wants to get every piece of pie he can get. He definitely missed out on being able to pitch in the dude from Binance got to do, and many others got to do. So clearly Charles is trying to second move advantage, I guess. That's my take.
Don't get me started on CZ. He's not so much a proponent versus an adversary, just trying to take market share personally. But go ahead, Ayana.
Yeah, question to Emmanuel. Thank you for your answers. What do you think about the extra features which has Musk in mind? Because they are talking about Tweet Talk, some sort of TikTok, and to enhance the whole platform. I'm curious.
I am so sorry. Which features in particular again? If you can just go over that again.
Tweet Talk, so you can have this whole TikTok concept, because he already talked about that one short videos with presentations.
Right. So I think he'll try. So another thing he's really said a lot is he wants to make Twitter the WeChat of the US or the West. His vision for Twitter 2.0 is an everything app. So I don't know anyone who uses WeChat. I have WeChat, but you can pretty much order a car, order food, play games, do so many things in WeChat. And that's what he wants to do with Twitter. Now, when it comes the TikTok thing, remember that Twitter had Vine. Twitter run Vine, and Vine was one of the most successful things socially, but economically or business-wise, Vine was not making any money because Twitter was not, selling user data. Twitter was not throwing in ads like crazy or anything. Vine was this great thing for the people, but not so much for the business folks. So Vine got shut down. However, there's still been a lot of technology about Vine that's been running in Twitter in the background. Twitter never really discards their technology. Even for Periscope, like Twitter Spaces is running on top of Periscope. Twitter Spaces is literally just Periscope minus the video. If you go look in the code base right now yourself, you see so many bits of Periscope in there. So I can see Elon saying, open up the archives. Let's see what we're doing with Vine. Let's see if we can bring that back. So we can see Vine. I think a few employees before they left alluded to Vine 2.0. So I can see Elon doing that. Mind you, it's going to be his big sword up against like China and then a lot of the other folks on the other side. So it's a huge possibility that we could see Vine back in the form of a competitor to TikTok. And then there's going to be a lot of regulatory stuff, easing onto what do you call the folks who handle TikTok in the US. There's already a lot of talks about they getting investigated and stuff. So definitely likely to see a TikTok replacement for through Twitter, through Elon. That's based on my observations. Yeah.
Nostradamus, get in there.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yes, sir. I've got a question for you guys. So he wants to make it the WeChat of China, and I see a lot of criticism levied towards the Chinese government because they control WeChat. They have. I'm playing devil's advocate here. They control WeChat, and that's bad. But now, for some reason, us in the West, we're like, what's a lot better than a government controlling an everything app? One person controlling an everything app. I'm sort of curious as to why people think that that's a better thing, putting the power in one person's hand as opposed to a larger group of people.
Just gotta throw it into the fire of Mordor.
Say that again.
It's just you gotta throw it into the fires of Mordor.
Oh. That's what I heard.
What's up, Pirate? Okay, you're rugged. Well, too bad.
Yeah.
I think.
Anybody
else?
I think the reason people put one person in power is to go faster. The thing that slows down big organizations is decision making. So that's why a lot of new CEOs will have new decision frameworks, right? i.e., they decide. That way, everything is forced to funnel through one person. So the person who's new and doesn't know, the 100 projects that are actually running, now all of those decisions need to go through them, and then they can kind of murder projects and put in new ones, and like speed will go up, right? So that's the only reason, and that's why I was very comfortable with Charles initially being such a driver of Cardano, is because we needed that vision. We needed things to be structured, and then we can solve the smaller problems. So I don't think it's atypical. It would be sad if in 5 years it's the same thing, though.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just sort of slightly. It concerns, like, WeChat is literally the everything app, and it gives the Chinese government a ton of power. Now, I'm not convinced that giving all that power to one person is necessarily an upgrade from that. But I stand to be corrected. I do agree with you that it does allow for better speed.
Yeah, and if anybody's been
Patrick.
in a... Go ahead.
I think BlockJock, I think you've reached your word count for the day.
Now, I was just going to comment on Elon. He's not what everybody thinks he is. I mean, honestly, the big pedestal he's on right now, apparently.
Yeah, but he does surround himself with a lot of smart people. I mean, him and his team are setting men and women into their space.
Exactly. That is his...
Wow. Patrick sounds so different this morning. Patrick, go ahead, please.
I'll talk in a lower voice and see if I can match it so our guest doesn't get in trouble. So first, I came up because I wanted to say hello and actually had to have this time off. 2, I saw Annette, and I was like, man, it's been a bit. I wanted to say hello, Annette. Hope you're well. And then to contribute to the conversation, I think I don't think that the sort of single app, mega app is the direction that's headed. I don't know where it comes from. This idea of organizing information and making information accessible, I think, is going to lead it to much more of an open platform to use. And there's been a lot of talk about identity and kind of the social graph that Twitter has. But to Epoch's point, I mean, Twitter hasn't changed in freaking, what, 10 years? It's basically the same thing it was before. So, whatever direction it's heading, I think it has to do something, whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But my hope is that it gets more open as opposed to more closed to kind of offset what Nostradamus was talking about around sort of that control. So we will see.
What's up, Pyro?
You call me? Can I talk?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I used to like Elon a lot. I
Oh, I
used to be.
remember.
Oh, no, I know. Seriously, for many years, I used to like Elon a lot. I felt like how he treated the like buying Twitter obviously was left field. But how he treated the employees, I think he should have done a slow kind of laying off rather than just firing half the staff. I know you kind of want to purge the wound, but the way he handled this whole mess without a plan shows a lot of like his, a lot of his personality. I don't think actually what like maybe the SpaceX thing, Neuralink and Tesla kind of, like benefited from his hard-handed management style. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's like a net positive. Like, we have to pay $8 for more features when he could have just had ads in there and just more secure features. Like, I think $8 is too much. It's not like they have movies that they're planning, like Netflix. This probably could have been like $6 or $5 a month, and it's like that edit button. Everyone should have the edit button. Like this whole like I understand Twitter has cost them a lot of money, and also hasn't made money in 10 years, but there had to have been something else.
Wait, so you're saying we shouldn't trust one man because the one man is sketchy and he's made lots of sketchy decisions?
Well, as far as the one man goes, and the like the Chinese government controlled thing, is that the government controls way more policies than one man. This is one man with one platform, and obviously many users. But many users can leave, whereas the Chinese government, or the government, not just the Chinese government, most people can't leave. And then you also saw, forgive me, I don't remember the billionaire's name, but how the Chinese kind of made the guy from Alibaba kind of go away for a while. And then he had monumentous. He had a lot of, forgive me, I just woke up, like influence, crazy influence. So if the Chinese leadership could, walk their last prime minister out on the stage as a showboat, it's like, do you want these people, the government in general, to be controlling what the masses see, think, and hear? Whereas at least with one man, he's a public figure. You can choose what product that you have. So I'd rather trust a man who I can walk away from than an organization that controls my life.
What's up,
So you don't think?
Yeah. So a few things. Let's start with. Do we have breaking news?
No, I finally found the button.
All right. He found the button. All right, awesome. So a few things. With like something that Epoch said, which I think is a very key thing that we don't talk enough about, is how like Charles and his team led the development of Cardano to a certain degree, and that was because of efficiency. There's something that we don't talk enough about crypto in general, and that's like the bootstrap period of every blockchain-based cryptocurrency project. There's a bootstrap phase whereby a certain level of concentration needs to be done on a group of people so they can surgically improve the progress of the project in a certain sector. This can be, say, the core development, network, find the economics of it, say the DeFi or the NFTs or whatever. There's always like a bootstrap period. And the thing that Cardano so far is on a good track is doing a better job at is outlaying that roadmap, setting down like the goals and the timeline to show like, hey, this is how long our bootstrap period for like say our network security, our core protocol development will will go for, and it will end with the bootstrap period effectively just distributing power to different groups of bodies and entities. That's something that is lost on a lot of cryptocurrency projects out there. So I think when we understand that a bit much better, it helps us understand a lot of other businesses out there. Now coming back to Elon, I'm sorry, just saying that to pretty much add to what was the name to what Epoch said. I'll release a tweet thread later on about this. But with Elon has also pretty much made that very clear that he is not looking to what was the name to rule, like to be in charge of Twitter 24/7. No. He's actually made it clear that he wants to get someone to be in a seat to run Twitter. And this is something he actually said on his recent interview at this conference in Asia. He did a video stream interview to talk with the folks over there, and he made that clear, like, no, Twitter's exhausting for him. He's managing multiple companies, and he wants to get someone to actually lead Twitter while he just sets the vision, someone else executes. So to those who are like, one man has control, blah blah blah, that's not exactly the case, or that's not the perceived case according to this one man. But then also, like, no one forces us to use Twitter, right? It's not his fault that we've built a certain attraction and attachment to Twitter. So even if Twitter becomes the everything app, it's really just up to us to really treat it as the everything app. If it has Uber and all this stuff in there, and we're still kind of downloading Uber and using different messengers to message people, that's on us. So I don't think it's necessarily a logical fear to worry that, oh, hey, he's going to control everything. He's not. It's up to us. It's us, the users, right? We're the ones who are going to have to pay the bills to keep it running. So even if we're paying $8, that's us choosing to pay $8 if we want to use those features. One cool thing I would say that has shown up in a lot of the code base with regards to its focus on privacy is Sigma protocols. And to any of the Ergo fans out there, Sigma protocols are some of the things that really run within the core infrastructure of Ergo. So that's interesting to see come into the Twitter code base. But yeah, we're still very much early, and we're only as good as the information that the folks from Twitter put out. But then lastly, about the way employees were like and everything. So I spoke with Ryuji, and he's still the current head for Twitter Next. So something I don't talk about a lot. I actually did like this 3-week Twitter kind of, should I call it an internship, like back in 2018 before I joined JP Morgan. And with that, like, pretty much I was with like one of the product teams, and I built a lot of good relationships which I've kept over time. And so I have that relationship with Ryuji, and Ryuji made that clear, like, actually, like, while the whole proceedings were going on, emails were sent around to let people know how the state of events could turn out. So essentially, before they had the code freeze, because that's what Twitter had, they had a code freeze where no one else could add in new code. Before they had in the code freeze, the various teams were put on alert as to what can happen. It's not like they just woke up and they had zero access. No, they had knowledge that this can happen. Because here's the thing, Twitter was running with a lot of people, a lot of services, and Twitter wasn't really making money. All right, Twitter was running at a loss. The thing that's keeping them going is like maybe the stock market or anything. I don't know. But Twitter was running at a loss. It's like, yeah, we're keeping the lights on, but we're taking on a lot of debt about that. So Elon inherited a company that was pretty much like broke and burning way more money than it's making. So he having to make those decisions it's a rational thing that any startup owner, anyone who's because to Elon, Twitter is just a startup to him. So he's going to take the decisions that kind of will prevent him from burning a lot of cash while still keeping it afloat. So a lot of the people getting emails and stuff, I reach out to a lot of people. I spoke with Ryuji just like the week after like most of his team was to let go, and he manages Twitter Next. Twitter Next is like the team that thinks of what are the new features you should build that could bring in more engagement for Twitter and everything. So it's kind of like the gateway drug department, if you will. It's a brilliant department, if anything. And he made that clear. He was like, oh yeah, we already kind of had emails and stuff. We just didn't think it would be so rapid and so like, blanketed in the sense that it took a lot of people with them. And even some people who were sent away were still called back in. That's something no one is talking about a lot. All right, there's this whole media kind of attack against Elon and his new regime that people don't look at certain things. Like a lot of people are kicked out, but a lot of people have sent emails again to say, come back in, or to say, hey, we did a second review and like, it looks like your manager says you're, the top valuable person. Because Elon, pretty much, according to a lot of the information out there, he wanted to just keep the best of the best around. Right? It sucks because now it's kind of based on the recent picture, it's pretty male dominated now, and Twitter used to be super diverse. So that's another discussion on its own. But these are things that, like, if you're get enough time just spending around, you just catch these bits of information around. But it's not like people are surprised as to like they getting kicked out and everything. I think they were more shocked that, oh hey, it's me being let go, these people are laid off with severance. That's another thing. These people are eating good. They're sleeping good, eating good. Most of them are not gonna rush for a new job. Okay. So it's not like you just
3
kick them out.
months.
Yeah, all right. Like these people are way, they're chilling. All right, whoever has been laid off by Twitter, they're not about. It's like they're about to have some, poverty-stricken lifestyle or something. No, they're still eating steak. So, and that's something that the media would not elaborate. And that's something that Elon is also trying to combat. He's trying to create this thing he calls civilian journalism, which for me I think is it's something which if you don't understand properly, it could go very wrong. But that's just me. But like, yeah, there's all sorts of things going on around this.
And I'm sure by now, with all the people that he's fired, there's probably a support group that's out there on social media somewhere.
What's up, AGS?
Yeah, sorry, those people are too busy pointing fingers at each other in Mastodon. But as for what Megan was saying, yeah, I mean, he brought back Ligma and Johnson. He said he was wrong for letting them go, and now they're back working at Twitter. But there was an obvious ideological slant to Twitter, which I think needed to be rooted out. And you can take a look at a Joe Rogan interview with Vijay Gade, Jack Dorsey, and a podcaster called Tim Pool, who's pointing out the obvious biases within Twitter. And it was making a lot of people's lives terrible using the platform. Now, since that's gone, I think there's a lot more freedom on the platform right now.
I used to watch, Sargon of Akkad and all the kind of dark intellectual quote unquotes. I love Joe Rogan. I think he's hilarious. I don't think any of that like type of stuff should even be classified as like left, right leaning. I love the commentary, but Tim Pool, I don't that guy's a joke. No offense to him, like his takes are so harsh, and he does it on purpose. But like, I don't know. It's like he's not even. I don't know.
I mean, whether you like the guy, I think it was a pretty good interview on that particular podcast.
Yeah, honestly, that was you're talking about when he was talking to the Twitter CEO.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey and their head lawyer, Vijay Gade.
Yeah. That was a good podcast. That was interesting that they even got them on. 100%.
So do you think that because Elon has a reputation of coming into a room and at any moment, anyone could be fired, right? He's kind of like the Dr. Evil, where the chairs go backwards and it goes into a fiery pit, if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time. You think because of that, people jump in there now and they put their best effort into it because of that? I mean, because he does have that reputation.
They're probably not making day in a life of a Twitter employee videos anymore.
Right. I think that's another thing we're not talking about, because it's not just Twitter that's laid off employees. Like Meta released like 11,000 employees. Like most of their crypto department, I knew about 6 people, and apparently there's only 2 people left in that department. All right, the team that was responsible for integrating like Instagram with Polygon and many other platforms out there. A lot of those folks were affected by the 11K release. Microsoft is also releasing some employees. Google has mentioned that they're about to release about 20 to 30% of the employees that apparently are not impactful, the people who want to like pull in their weights. So there's a lot of like layoffs about to happen and already happened in the traditional tech scene. That we shouldn't be surprised as to a lot of things happening. But then people saying, we're in a time where if you walk into a meeting with Elon, there's a chance that you come out of it fine. I mean, that's the same thing people said about Steve Jobs, right? Literally, people were scared to enter an elevator with him because they didn't know how it would end. I think we've seen a live action, version of that on Twitter. Even I think what I can get from it is that if you're about to interact with Elon, or you're about to like just any form of interaction, don't play the fool. Just don't joke around. Be direct. Be honest. Don't try to raise your nose at him or something. Like at the end, he's your boss, if anything. But then still, like be valuable. Be reasonable. Because there was this one person online who was kind of telling Elon, no, RPC, inconsistencies are another reason why Twitter's having issues in Asia right now. And Elon said, well, can you tell me what's the reason? And then that guy started to just troll the dude online. I'm like, dude, you're trolling your boss on Twitter. Like, how did you expect this to go? All right. Plus, he had his own teammates who then came on to then correct him to say, no, this is what causes that. All right. So the fact that his own superiors came in to then correct that, and then, a few hours later, Elon just tweeted like he's fine. All right. So then it gave me the perspective of like, yeah, if you're going to come for the kin, like, don't miss. That kind of thing. Elon is just that one guy who's like, I don't like this app. So what you going to do about it? I'm going to buy it. Like, Elon just did what everyone who, like, if we could, we would do. All right. We all complain about Twitter. That's why I like to do this. I don't complain about things I can't control. I don't have ownership of. Like, yeah, this Dex isn't working the way I want it to work. Like, I didn't build it. I don't run it. Like, even if I'm just a distant stakeholder. So, like, I manage, like, what I want out of it. All right. If Elon is just that person who said, okay, Twitter is becoming biased in this way or something, what can I do? Fine, I'll just buy it. And even then, he tried undoing that act. He didn't want to buy Twitter anymore. And they made him buy it. So it's and one thing is this: avoid if you live a life where you avoid putting people on pedestals like Elon or I don't know Vitalik or Charles or anyone, you'll be disappointed less. All right, because Elon has his his quirks, he has his downsides as well, and people tend to ignore that till the very end. So yeah, let's see what Elon Twitter looks like.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Let's get in there.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is that if I was a Twitter employee, I'd be so bleak because, like, imagine having a job that pays you a lot. I watched a couple of those things where it's like, I'm coming into the office, I'm grabbing a latte, and then they then we have a meeting, and then I'm gonna go grab, and then they go grab food, and it's like the most amazing food, and then we have another meeting, and we're gonna go hang out and do some yoga or some shit. And then that's their fucking job. Like, I think it's a lot better now. Like, it makes more sense. But like, if I was an employee, I'd be pretty bummed because like I don't get to just fucking hang out and drink coffee all day and get paid a bunch of money. But yeah, it's good for everyone else that people actually have to work for their money now.
Yeah, not sure. Just to add on to that before INET goes, like, we found out later on, and that's the funny thing about how Elon is running things. He's just making things public these days, right? We found out that apparently they were spending at least $250 per employee a day on just food. At least $250 a day per employee on food. And Twitter had like over 700 employees, if anything, right? So that's telling a bit. And I'll tell you this, within that 3-week period where I spent at Twitter with like the little like kind of internship team, if you call it, like, dude, we had this Twitter New York, just downtown. The cafeteria was pretty much open from like, I don't know, from 6 a.m. through to like 9 p.m. if your card could allow you to still stay in after like 6 p.m. All right, this cafeteria was still open. You could go eat stuff. You could eat anything. I was like in heaven, like, when I had the opportunity. But then you think back and you're like, oh snap, how scalable, how monetary intelligence was that? Like, economically intelligent was that? It's like, yeah, there's a lot of good things which I think will eventually just get replaced. But then there was a lot of cost going in. Now that I think back into like how things were being done, yeah.
Well, those are the perks that keep employees in there, right? So the more you do for them while they're at your place of employment, the better they feel, or the better they feel taken care of, and therefore you keep them for a longer period of time. But some go over the top with it.
What's up, Ian?
Yeah, well, for me, Elon would be successful in the future when he makes Twitter from a polarized opinion factory to a more safe place without trolls and with more personalities who can have their stage. I don't know why Argyros has his thumb down, but he can tell me right away. And well, I think then he has have success. Sorry about my English.
One second, though, Shadama. It seems like Argyros has shit to say, so go ahead. Say it.
Let Argyros go first. Yeah.
And I was just going to say, trolls is what makes the platform fun. Take a look at Shillenville, and he's an obvious troll. He's also a personality. I think we need more people like that. Obviously, we need a lot of intelligent people breaking news when it happens. We saw that FTX space for like 2 weeks, stuff like that. And I don't think we would have got information like that under the previous leadership of Twitter.
Well, I said a polarized opinion, polarized, like how do you say, right wing, left wing, and nothing in between. That that's what I wanted to emphasize more than the trolls. But okay, the trolls come along with it.
Yeah, I think polarized opinions are fine. The more people see that, they can make up their own decision. If you don't show that, if that's being hidden, then they're just going to grow in their dark little corner.
Okay, but I listen to your voice and I can say like, okay, Argoros is an individual, but which is also very intelligent. And there are a lot of people here on Twitter which are not so intelligent, more like follow the leader. And that can be very dangerous in politics.
Yeah, but that's just life, though.
You
Yeah, I
can
mean,
tell that
I wouldn't.
you can tell that AGC is intelligence just from his voice. Wow.
Yeah, I was about
Yes.
to put a
No,
thumbs down
no,
when you said that.
it's not the sound of his voice. It's the intention of his voice. How do you say? It's like the
Right. I
how
think
he.
Anna is
Yeah.
saying game recognizes game. I think that's a short form of what Anna is trying to say. Like game recognizes game, and I think they do that
Yep,
even over voice.
definitely.
Yes.
Well,
But
then
like
Nostradamus wants to say something, Emmanuel.
no,
Let's
yeah,
Nostradamus.
Nostra, let's go. Yeah.
It's all good. No, I just want to say that the one thing that sort of with polarization is really intense. But I mean, the thing, I think one of the reasons we're so polarized is because before social media, everyone lived in a fake reality like the only way people knew what people were thinking was through the news and TV shows and newspapers. Like no one knew what the fuck people were actually thinking. And I'm not saying that social media is accurate to what we're thinking, because Twitter especially, sometimes I'm very like fucking hair trigger and I'll say something because I'm just being grumpy, and then I'll look at the tweet later and be like, yeah, you know what, I don't really agree with what I just said. So it does sort of get that out of us sometimes. But the polarization, I think, is sort of realistic, because I think we are very polarized right now. Maybe it is sowing division even more. But I mean, I like to think that I sit in the middle, and there is a lot to be said when you look at the extremes on both sides. I think a lot of people probably look at it and go like, wow, everyone's crazy. Whether you're far left or far right, you're kind of losing the plot a little. It's pretty obvious. And I think most people kind of sit in the middle. Um, and the thing is about keeping a place safe. I agree with the idea of keeping a place safe, but that is it's like has to be done very carefully, because that's a very slippery slope. Because the definition of safe can be like, oh, your opinion hurts my feelings, and that's making me feel quote unquote unsafe. So that's kind of a slippery slope. So personally, I lean more towards people being allowed to have their feelings hurt. But yeah, no, that's all I want to say.
And the personal
Yeah, but
note, I'm so happy to see you, Nostradamus. I haven't seen you in a while. I love hearing your voice, and I'm gonna chime in on this myself, because I do agree that most of us seek for. I mean, naturally, we seek for homeostasis, right? We seek for equilibrium as a natural state. So having this polarized, energies help us keep, perspective and find our center, right? So just like strong winds and strong, like the ocean, then you kind of learn how to navigate your waters. And it's kind of needed. So yeah, I mean, I might not like it. I might not like what I hear out there, but I think it's important for that to exist, for you to also value what you value, right? It's just kind of a way to remind you of your values too.
Hey, Lido, did you have the minute that you wanted to do? We haven't done it yet.
On
It's
the mid
Monday.
roll,
Yeah, or the mid roll. We've done neither.
yeah, I'll just do a compressed both. Your mid roll, ADA is precious. You should never trust another person to hold your ADA. keep it in your own wallet. And while it's in your wallet, you can stake it. And Cardano rewards you for doing that because when you stake your ADA, you actually contribute to the protection and the security of the Cardano blockchain. So it's like a double reward. The blockchain that has your ADA is safer, and your personal ADA is safer, and you get reward. I think that's triple.
It's like a
Project
superhero,
this
really. I mean,
I
come
know,
on.
right? This week in Catalyst, so Town Hall is back until December 14, y'all. Is that a Wednesday? Whatever that Wednesday is. Either the 14th or the 12th. The next Town Hall is on Wednesday, so go ahead and check that out. You want to check it out because lots and lots of changes is coming to Fund 10, which is due to kick off mid Q1 of next year. So come to it. If you can come to it, check out the YouTube channel, IOHK YouTube channel. It will be posted there. But you won't be able to participate in it after town hall because the live stream goes off after the first hour and people go into discussion. So if you want to shape and have an opinion of what Fund 10 could look like, you should at least maybe try to go to the second half of the town hall and be part of those discussions. Look, I'll put something on the top for you to find a link. And if you're new to Cardano and you have no idea what I'm talking about and this town hall nonsense, my name is Darlington, your favorite code dreamer ally the nation, where we have lots of great educational material in English, Kiswahili, and Espanol. And if you search Catalyst, you will get 22 articles that will help you understand what the Catalyst is and what the town hall is. So check that out, and I'll pin the link to the Zoom shortly. Who was next?
Great question. We're going to go with, I think it's Emmanuel. Or actually,
Awesome.
You see, I thought you were going to say we're going to go with someone who hasn't spoken yet.
And I did. Hedera is down there, and so is Lipo. So, Emmanuel, you
I'll
want
go
to?
after them. Let me go after them. Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead. Hedera.
Yeah. Am I audible? Good morning, everyone. Here it is. Good
We can hear you.
morning.
Good morning.
So I just see you guys. I have been in your spaces a couple of times, and I liked it. And this is just my proposal that we should do some cross chain spaces, like, because I have seen a lot of people going to ADA at the same time. I am seeing a lot of people coming from Solana to HBAR, and we both have small communities. So this is just my proposal. I'm not here to shield my project. I am just here to have some. I just came here to have a to propose this idea to have a cross chain space someday where I will invite projects from HBAR, and you guys can invite projects from Cardano, and we can actually tell people like what this NFT is project about and something like that. So that was my proposal.
That's a great idea. Reach out in the send us a DM. Let's definitely set that up. Before the next hand go and before I step away to Fiat for like 10 minutes, the best way to show your project is to come up in your project PFP and just participate in the conversation that's happening. You get an automatic show. Hot tip. Who's next? But yeah, send me a DM. Let's set that.
Yeah, I did.
Lipo Essentials. Go for it.
Hey, BlockJock. How are you?
Oh. Lipo, you go.
Whoa, what just happened?
Whoa.
Because, okay, we have that one more person that hasn't spoken, and then we go to you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, we got Lipo Essentials and Emmanuel.
Thank you. In the spirit of what Lido just stated about showing up to spaces under your PFP, and that's an automatic kind of inherent shill without saying it. I guess I'm guilty of that right now. So
yes,
I just wanted to say hello, but I did want to comment back on this Twitter thing because for what it's worth, as I am relaunching and rebranding and remarketing this entity, LipoEssentials, as my entity in the U.S. I have been taking out ads over the weekend on several platforms, and so I just wanted to address, as a customer of Twitter, buying ads, promoting via Twitter, via Instagram, Meta, and God knows what else I did on Thursday or Wednesday last week. I will tell you guys that the experience of doing so on Twitter is actually a pleasurable experience compared to running ads on Meta or Insta in particular. And I am saying that as a user of all of them now, whether I like it or not. Owning LipoEssentials means that we absolutely have to get the word out in social media, and that includes all the major platforms. So I will just tell you that the experience was very quick to market. It was smooth. The data set that you get back from Twitter is exceptional now. And I like what some of the changes that have happened from the old days, we'll call them, to the new Elon-led, and I'm just speaking as a small business, as a tiny.
But did you
business.
stick around and got an experience to change, or did you sign up before and signed up now? Like, did you
actually
see?
had an experience before, Jenny, when I promoted my pool once, Karma Pool, obviously, under that entity, maybe a year ago. The experience was ginormously different from then versus now. It was probably 9 months ago to a year ago versus last week.
Well,
So
that's
some of
pretty
those changes,
interesting. Good to know.
yeah. But to your point, some of those changes may have happened under the old regime. That is possible. It's probably likely. But I just want to say, a couple of you were commenting about a lot of advertisers are fleeing the platform. And that's, look, big companies, Coca-Cola, GM, GM has its own axe to grind against Elon, obviously, on a different business, right? They're a direct competitor, so they're not going to, actively fund his pockets, whether they're at, Starlink or anywhere else. They have a thing against him, and Mary Barra will always have a thing against him, and she should. If I'm a huge Mary Barra fan, by the way, but I'm also a huge Elon fan. But if I were Mary, I wouldn't give him a nickel either. So, you always have to look at intentions. And as a tiny small business with no reputation yet, we look at this very differently than a large company. And I know BlockJock in particular in his business could probably appreciate this in his fiat life, is that, your aspirations as a small entity trying to get a name are very different than, Coca-Cola or GM. So I just want to state the obvious there a little bit and just say I'm excited and is not fit for prime time anymore unfortunately. But there's a lot of things that the Vine founder, the one living founder of Vine who's still around, there are things that he did with short form video that can definitely be rejuvenated or branded and repackaged under Twitter. That was one of the worst acquisitions in modern technology, in my opinion, from a founder's perspective, for the guys at Vine. And I do know the founder of Vine quite well, I will tell you guys. But he's moved on. He's done amazing things elsewhere. He's an entrepreneur. He will always be successful in other ways. But it was kind of a crying shame what Twitter did or didn't do with Vine after they acquired it. And it was very unfortunate what happened to one of the founders. We won't go there, but yeah, it is and was a tremendous travesty, because short form video was just getting its legs as a novel concept, and what Twitter did under the old regime was really cut the legs out from under, and it allowed a vacuum where TikTok walked right into that vacuum and said, "Guys, we got this." And well, if you trust TikTok, sure, we got this, I guess, but I don't trust them. and
So you think that's important? You
be
bring up a good point with the TikTok thing, right?
yeah,
Because they
yeah,
really are taking all the advertising right now.
exactly. Yeah. So Elon's got a big challenge, guys, and I don't cry for Elon every night, right? I mean, he's got plenty of great things going on, but there are some massive challenges he's got on his plate. There's no doubt about it. And they need to figure it out. I think he needs a COO like immediately. He needs a chief operating officer to take over the daily operations of the company. And so I'm sure he's going to do that carefully, but he does not need to be
You're
the
sure
day.
he's gonna do that carefully? What makes you think that, Karma?
Well, yeah, maybe that's a bit
It's
of
a
a
little
leap.
wild,
Yeah, maybe that's a bit of a leap, but he needs someone like a Mary Barra. He needs somebody with real operations knowledge of the social media type, not obviously the car type, and really needs somebody who will pursue his vision but not alienate advertisers. Um, and I think it's going to be somebody with a lot of diplomacy in their veins because he is not easy to manage. I can imagine. So yeah, just some thoughts.
Yeah, I want to add in. I think I go next. So I'll just pitch into a few things. What was the name with regards to what do you call it? Twitter essentially like getting someone to like take the charge. Like that's what we want to see. But I think the one thing we need to realize also is that Elon has like the most skin in the game now. Like he has one job to not let Twitter fail because it's his money at stake. This dude spends like billions, on Twitter, if not millions. I can't remember the exact figure sets, but he has more reason to make sure that Twitter succeeds in a major capacity so he can make his money back so that everyone who jumps in kind of makes it worthwhile. So that's something I wanted to add into what Karma just put in, or Life Essentials just put in. And then to add on to the Lido Minute, I think for many people in this chat here who are just hearing about Karma for first, I think something that Lido mentioned, like the staking is great. I think the best part about the staking, people, is that you don't have to lock your funds if you're staking. You can still spend your ADA however you like, wherever you like, whenever you like, while you're staking. Okay, so a lot of platforms out there like Ethereum and many others, you have to like lock your ETH and not know when you get it back or probably get some derivative. We don't do that here in Cardano. So I think that's something that to newcomers to majorly consider. And to what Hedera did say, like, yeah, I think we need more cross-chain spaces, but then we do have that. I think we have some Cardano and HBAR and some other VeChain spaces, but a lot of the focus has been on NFTs and a lot of like flip speculative talk and everything. So if that's what you're into, if that's what anyone is into, there are definitely some spaces. I have to go through my checks and see who I can recommend. But we're yet to have spaces that really have, for me and in what my appetite goes for in terms of like more, more contentful discussions and more, stuff that has more meat inside for me rather than just speculate and talk about what NFT would flip in this ecosystem or not. I think we're yet to see a lot of that coming in, and I'd love to see that. So hopefully we can get something like that going on. With the interaction we just had briefly between Annette and Andros, that currently Cardano Over Coffee is like the town center to like a good chunk of people. Maybe not all of Cardano, but a good chunk of people in Cardano. And this where paths just come together and kind of cross in different ways. But that's why I get very bullish on Urbit. You see, Urbit is a kind of system whereby you stick with your zone. Like, there's a 0% chance that you'd ever speak with someone who's on the other side of your spectrum because the Urbit system is built to counter that. It doesn't have any native algorithms that kind of make people cross paths or all of that. Like it is speculated to say that even the Twitter algorithm is to some degree dependent on building a lot of drama and kind of encouraging spikes, be it between leftists and rightists or conservatives and what have you, Ethereum or Cardano people. Like the algorithm to some degree conjures enough engagement interaction flows to make people experience that. So like I think it's time that we also look at alternative social media systems. Urbit is like the biggest thing I would push for ever since I discovered it. And I'm pretty against Mastodon. Like a lot of people are like going for Mastodon. One thing like people don't realize is that Mastodon brings you in and like lets you drop a bunch of your data on someone else's server, and like you're pretty much unsecure in that context. People like the server owners can pretty much read your DMs. And that's not just some thin out of thinner. It's literally a reality. It's in the rules you build, and they tell you, oh, then go build your own server if you don't want that. So to those who are running to Mastodon thinking they're throwing the middle finger to Twitter, people really need to know what you're getting into. And then to add on to that, there are also novel social media platforms in development right now. We have Farcaster, mostly in the Polygon ecosystem. We have Farcaster, we have Lens. There's so many interesting projects out there looking to improve, social media in a more quote unquote decentralized one. I think more people should look into that. But yeah, that's me.
Cool. Beep, 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 beep.
Hey, y'all know BlockFi just filed for bankruptcy. So, yeah, you know it's finna happen.
Who's next? That was funny. Is it Nostradamus? I don't know. Do you remember, guys? Just do the honor system here.
I think it
I
was
think it was
Nostradamus. I think it was me, but I'll give it a Nostradamus.
You're
There
very
you
kind,
go.
bro. You're very kind. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that it's. Did you guys see that thing about how TikTok, how differently the algorithm works in China compared to everywhere else? Like, if you go on TikTok, there's so much trash on it, but like in China, it's like all like educational and like kids helping old people and people doing like their civil duties and just like being all wholesome and how to live a good life, and whereas like everywhere else it's like jump backwards off of stairs challenge, things like that. I find that pretty interesting. It's almost like it's like taking the information warfare thing to like next level. And then just on the social media thing in general, it is the one thing that does suck about social media in general is that uh, it's almost incentivized to create echo chambers because people you don't want to confront people with too many views that they don't agree with, otherwise they're going to be like, oh fuck this, I'm leaving. So it's sort of like, I don't know if anyone's been on Reddit, like it's like there is no polarization on Reddit, barely. It's like pretty much everyone says the same thing, which is quite tiring,
But that's
unless I
not how
guess you
Reddit
agree with
used to
everyone.
be, right? Wasn't Reddit like more like that back in the day? That's why I used to love Reddit.
Yeah, I think it did used to be a little bit more. It did used to be, and then I don't know. There was a demographic. My one friend actually says, you know what happened is it went from having tons of cat memes to having dog memes, and so I'm a dog person and a cat person, but he's like, yeah, well, what happened is the dog people took over, and now look. But I don't know if the science backs it up because actually the
That is
science
so
seems.
wild. That's a funny analogy. Is it an analogy or he's being like for real?
No, he's been for real, but the thing is, I don't agree with him because actually, like, dog people actually tend to be nicer. Apparently, there was a study done, but yeah, no, that's my 2 bits.
Well, I guess that's what we're centered, right? Because we're dog and cat people. So there you go. Was it
Yo,
Big Joe or is it your
yeah, I
turn,
think it
Big
was me.
Joe?
I didn't want to switch the conversation in case these other two hands were on the same subject. So if you guys were, just to not lose the flow of things, go ahead. If not, I'll change the subject.
Yeah, be good to
Yeah.
like change the subject before we close it out for sure.
Can I
No,
just throw in my
my thing
anecdote
is
on
very
the heels
different.
of Lip Essentials about the Twitter ads and stuff? Little anecdote. I did a couple of ads a while back, and I found that there is a lot of data that Twitter gives you. And one thing I learned was that 10 to 1 women were looking at my ads. And so for Cyber Monday, I ran an ad and I said, show this to women. And there has been 0 impressions based on that promotion. I don't know if that's showing changes in demographics or whatever, but I thought it was an interesting anecdote. And
That is
thank you.
interesting. Yeah. We should stay in touch on that. I'm.
You guys should probably run a little Twitter space just to talk
Yeah.
about like Twitter ads. That's actually an interesting
That's
topic.
actually a great idea, considering all the changes that are happening right now and the progression of it and people's experiences with it. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, definitely would be interesting to watch the progression over time. Until proven otherwise. But I did have good success over 3 days. Now, that's one small example. I don't want to read too much into that, but the data set is tiny. But the amount of information they give you is impressive. And it's interesting you mentioned that. My demographics in my ad I ran over Thanksgiving weekend were skewed to the male side, 2/3 male, 1/3 female, and that was not by design. I didn't ask for that. I wanted
First
it
of all,
equal.
how do they even know what I identify as?
Exactly, Big Joe. I mean, you almost defy categorization, so I wouldn't know where to put you or a lot of people that are
He's got
bigger
a
than
pretty
life.
deep voice,
Bigger
though.
than life. Yeah, yeah. I don't know where we'd find your demographic. Where, I mean, is there a space for amazing alien from another planet? I mean, is that a demographic?
That likes hanging out at dispensaries? What? No.
Yeah,
And is
exactly.
always high.
And is typically high.
Exactly.
I think it's Argyros.
That's
I'm
why I
so
didn't call
bad.
on him, because I don't know how to pronounce his name. I was gonna call on him. I was like, I'm not
Thank
even
you.
gonna try that.
No, no worries. You can just say HGC as well.
How did I say? Okay, can you like correct me because I was trying to say it and I was like, oh my
No,
god.
you said it as best as anyone can. I appreciate that. But the last thing I just wanted to pop up here is that I am looking to rent an Explorer ape within the Ape Society. I've been asking around. I have a list of references if you want a good character, reference. I only need it for less than an hour. So if you have an Explorer ape, my DMs are open.
Thank you, our gyros. I love gyros, by the way.
So renting. We're gonna
Oh,
rent now.
before you rant, BlockJock, because I just want to pin something here at the top for those who are interested in checking out this open source code that Spacebuds just released. We released the contract for the migration for Spacebuds. So if anybody is interested in looking at it, give feedback, find bugs, I'm gonna pin it up at the top. Thanks.
Does he
Jenny,
have
do
a
you mean
almost got
wormhole?
suckered into buying a space bots the other day? And I was like, nah, there's more bear market, right? There's gotta be. The floor gotta go down.
You're cheap, Idol. It's already cheap.
Yo, so real quick, you guys are not gonna believe this story, but I was high and I seen something on Twitter and I signed up for it, and now they keep spamming like my email like all day long. Worse than Project Catalyst. What's this Cardano MBO thing I signed up for? I thought I was gonna change the future. And
Oh, the member-based organization. You know what? I need to sign up for that stuff. Do you have
yeah,
a link for that?
yeah, I'll forward it to you, Jenny. But I was stoned and I was just like, this looks like positive vibes. Let me sign up for it. I want to be part of positive change in the community for the future of governance. But I was high, so I didn't know what I was talking about. And now they keep emailing me, and I don't know what to do. They're putting a lot of pressure on me. I don't like it. What's the deal? Should I get involved? Should I let it go? What?
Well,
Oh man, yeah. Go ahead, Emmanuel. You're the person to answer this for sure.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, Victor, it's really all about how much you're looking to, take care of Cardano, how much you're really looking to contribute and, in a way, in your own way, be a custodian of Cardano. Because the member-based organization, which we have to name, all right, we wouldn't just continuously call it a Cardano MBO. We would have to eventually give it a name. It's intended to be like a collective of people, regardless of what they build in or whatever, but essentially a collective of people who are focused on, properly assessing Cardano, properly, in line with like the visions and goals for the Cardano community post Age of Voltaire, in the ways that we can always like kind of crowdsource ideas and kind of, debate and build new solutions for Cardano. We can take on new decisions for Cardano, because once the age of Volta ends, like IOG won't be involved in Cardano the way it is right now. So that power will be distributed among the usual stakeholders, i.e., everyone who holds ADA through their delegated reps, but then also you're gonna have the members-based organization, and you're gonna have like other entities out there like the CF, Amugo, IO, DC Spark, M Labs, and many others out there. So the MBO is like your chance to come in with your domain expertise. Maybe you're super strong in regulatory frameworks. Maybe you're super strong in, I don't know.
Okay, Emmanuel. You do you how much of Big Joe? How much of that did you remember?
None of it.
Yeah, I have to say that wasn't like
I heard
easy.
MBO. I just heard MBO. That's the only thing I heard. Okay. I'm gonna simplify this. All right. The MBO. Has anyone seen Lord of the Rings? The MBO is pretty much that time when everyone brought your swords together and said, "Yes, we'll help you go to Mordor." All right. It's a fellowship. It's a fancy fellowship to destroy the Ring of Mordor. The only difference is that we're not destroying anything. We're just like building Cardano.
Now
Jesus Christ.
And what kind of emails are you getting, Big Joe? What kind of
Well,
emails?
here's the thing. Before we get to the emails, Big Joe, if you don't do this, Cardano will no longer be safe for stoners.
Oh shit!
God.
Okay, now you're putting the
You've
pressure
been
on me.
tasked. It's a quest now, Joe. It's a
Yeah.
quest.
So the email says, "Let's build the future Cardano together. Thank you for your interest in the Cardano member-based organization." And it just keeps using all kinds of like words that don't mean shit but sound good in the email. To be honest with you.
Yeah, Big Joe. Like I said, if you think of it as the Lord of the Rings, like just the folks, the Fellowship of the Ring, if you just think of it as that, you're good to go. You're pretty much perfect. So any average person who just wants the Eli 5, or everyday person or average person, everyday person who wants an Eli 5, just think of the Fellowship of the Ring. That's what the MBO is. To anyone who's like more familiar with crypto, more crypto inclined, or has some time in crypto, think of like Bitcoin wizards back in the day, the IRCs or Ethereum magicians. We have Ethereum magicians today. Just think of that to those who are like familiar with like similar groups in crypto. So pretty much the Cardano MBO will have to be our own version of Ethereum magicians or Bitcoin wizards. So I guess we would be, I don't know, Cardano mages. I don't know, Cardano warlocks. It has to be neutral as well. It has to be something neutral. Just for credible neutrality's sake. Actually, I just threw in that word for throwing in that word. It doesn't mean what I just said it means.
I get it. The little dude with the cape that helped King Arthur and Sir Lancelot and all them dudes. I feel you.
Oh, the scribe. Yeah, that's
a scribe.
the round table, but that same thing works. Yes.
Nah,
Rich,
the
you
one
got
magic
that.
dude. He was in the round table.
Let's hear from the new speaker. What's up, Shirley Low?
No, surely low.
So,
oh boy,
no,
oh boy, here we go.
the easiest way to participate in the members-based organization would be to just sign yourself up as a D rep, right? I mean, anybody can sign up for that.
Alpha.
I mean, that was a question. Can somebody confirm that?
Yeah, anyone can sign up. You can sign up today. Anyone can sign up.
Anyone can sign up. We can all be members. Yeah.
Yeah. The D-Rep cohort is one of the class of the members-based organization.
I think this is gonna like be a way to like kind of like keep like a place where you can see track records and see kind of skin in the game besides just holding ADA kind of thing.
Hold on, anyone can sign up. Even all these dudes that have been pulling rug pulls and quote unquote failed projects and shit, they can sign up as well.
Isn't that the idea to eventually just kind of because of that have like a little bit of a I don't know system to show merit, right?
Exactly. So anyone can join, but at the end of the day, if you keep bringing in junk, you're just the junk would just not go anywhere. So anyone can.
My junk bring other girls in the yard, okay?
Okay.
Oh boy,
Okay.
it's milkshake, not junk. Come on, get it right.
Let's hear from Ionet. Let's go through the hands. Go ahead, Ionet.
Oh yeah, I had to laugh. Hey Joe, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Annette? Nice to hear you.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, it's maybe a little bit on topic, but I don't know for sure. It's a totally new question. It's about gathering and it's about software. What is the most used and best software for 3D galleries? Are you using it? How do you use it? And what is the best software at this moment?
I usually just code my own when I want to do something like that because I don't like what's out there already. But I mean, I'll let everyone else answer as well.
Yo, Big Joe, you trying to build something for Annette because it sounds like she needs something. I mean,
She says software, Big Joe, not bomb.
right? No, this is Big Joe's opportunity to like literally
Oh
make
my
business
god.
right now. No,
Yes,
but Annette,
I was thinking like Big Joe has his own software company, so
No, he
wow.
sold that. He sold that
right?
really well. That was a good job, Joe. Way to go.
Yeah, Big Joe, power to you, man. This is what you call business acumen, right there. But like Annette, for one of the stuff out there, I mean, if you're looking for something that's like as plug and play as possible, I will recommend. It's not in the Cardano ecosystem, but then they're semi-agnostic in a way. But on Cyber, I'd recommend on Cyber. I pretty much beta tested it before it hit the market, and it's like grown very well over time. So I'd recommend you look that up. It's ON and then Cyber, CYBER. That's what I can recommend. The next thing is, well, that one still requires a little bit of hands-on activity, so it's not really plug and play. But then you have crypto voxels, right? If you have crypto voxel space, or you know someone who has space, you can either buy space or rent space, and then you can either get an architect or you can architect your own gallery within that space. I have a few friends who manage voxel spaces, but then yeah, crypto voxels is like next in. It's just there's some extra handy work to it. But if you want something that's close to plug and play, I'll say on Cyber. There's Monaverse, which is out there as well. I haven't tried that. But yeah, that's what I've got. If you look for like software to build, like this is more online gallery as a service, not so much as software for you to do stuff. Also, I'll just recommend, I don't know, not even Blender, but whatchamacallit, the 3D animation software, Unity. Yeah, you can get Unity. You can probably find some custom templates out there on the Unity market and just buy and use it. But yeah, that's what I'll say.
Yeah,
But
for
I
us
think
it's
Nostradamus, like, has been asking to speak for a while, and the same with Gray Beard. And I want to make sure they get a chance to speak before we shut down the space today.
oh yeah, sorry. For us it's like more plug and play, but if you have suggestions also, people in the room they can contact me because for us it's a very urgent thing. So plug and play, easy to use and with the which we can use our own textures.
Keep the hands going. Go ahead, Nostradamus.
Yeah, thanks, Lado. Just quickly, so someone was comparing it to the Fellowship of the Ring. So I have a question. So let's say we're like collectively Sam, and we're helping Frodo along his journey to the volcano. And now let's say it looks like Frodo is having trouble throwing the ring in the volcano. Do we, as Sam, just boot him in with the ring into the volcano, or what's the game plan with that?
Yeah, so that's what we'll have like the D reps for and then the SPOs for. So if you read 1694, that CIP 1694, it alludes to a lot of that as to like, how to really get things going if one arm is really not doing well. So yeah, definitely recommend reading 1694 in case Frodo doesn't want to throw the ring in and we just want to like kind of give him a drop kick into like the pits of Mordor.
This is Sparta.
Gray
Keep the hands
Beard,
going.
what do you have to say about that? Or if you want to say something else, go for it.
Well, I do, and I want to go back a little bit to the Twitter space, but I think when you're talking about
You want to go back, huh, Great Bear? Isn't that what every old person wants to do? Go back?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Carry on.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a 68-year-old in body with a 32-year-old mind. So, but there's two D reps. One is my understanding. One's going to be the Catalyst one that we've been talking about for almost a year now,
and the other DREP is a Cardano DREP, which is going to be separate and is towards the MBO or whatever it's being called, which is my question. I have two questions, maybe three about this. Is the first is why is Cardano Over Coffee doing a Twitter space? What actually is the end game? And is it developing or helping to develop a MBO? And would you, second part of that question, and this is for Big Joe, I'm just repeating it so he can actually remember it. And the second part is, would you consider Swarm and all the town halls in MBO in development? Those are my questions.
I'll take a stab at the COC thing, and then maybe one of the other co-hosts can add to it, because I'm probably going to say something nonsensical. Why are we
I'll go
doing
after the
Cardano over
co-host.
coffee? We're doing it so we can get delegators. That's not working. So, but we're still doing it. What do you think, Jenny? Why do we do this 5 days a week?
Why do I do this? Because I want Cardano to move forward and I don't know, help together achieve what we're here for. I mean, find those common grounds, synthesize ideas. I don't know, just do it for the greater good, I guess. I don't have
This
a
whole
pool. I have a
time?
secret pool.
Well, that's what I'm asking. What is the
Bring
goal? What
delegates
is
to the secret pool.
what
I
is the
thought,
greater
I,
goal? If it's
God.
just delegates to the state pool, that's fine. I
I
can
thought you
help
guys
out
were just
there.
trying to get me to drink coffee every morning.
No, honestly,
That was it too.
it's the education, right? It's
The
holding space.
education. We share all this
Yeah.
stuff. We bridge gaps. Like look at
And
us.
part of
Wow,
it
we like hang out and
is
learn so much from one another. This is why I do it. We all
yeah, and
grow.
there's not, and this is not to say that we have all the education. It's just holding that space. 5 days a week, there's a place you can go and have discussion. You
It's a
can learn about
forum
what's
for
happening.
right. It's a forum for what we want to learn about, which is Cardano, and we put it in
Yeah.
an entertaining way so as to keep it light, but at the same time inform. And I think ultimately at that point, it's engaging, and it's kind of a cool brand that Cardano Over Coffee has, I think, too, as well. So
And we do it
there's
so
a
we
variety
can
of different platforms there.
mute BlockJock. We just do it for that reason.
Well, and that's the other thing.
What was your second question? Is after time. Let's
Well,
get to the hint.
we all go to Swarm meetings. We all go to town hall. We know about the different town halls around the world now that they've developed. Would you consider Swarm a nascent MBO? And if so, can we help that develop? That's what I was looking at.
Like an MBO for the swarm itself?
Well, no. The 1694 is looking to develop member-based organizations for this new governance period. Is Swarm and the town halls one of those? And can we help it develop?
So let me tackle these two. The first one is, so back in the day, before we had Twitter Spaces, we had Clubhouse. And back on Clubhouse, well, a lot of Cardano people went on Clubhouse. I was mainly from the Ethereum ecosystem, and when I went to Cardano, I started, or I joined Jeremy Förster, who leads partnerships at the Cardano Foundation. I joined Jeremy Förster in running what we call the Cardano Community Lounge. A lot of people in here might not know what it is, because a lot of people in here may not have been on Clubhouse back in the day. Like we're talking,
Brief.
Yeah, get in there. So effectively, when we had Twitter Spaces more public, we had Epoch's end, and it turned out that every week we only had one day when the Cardano community could kind of commune and interact. And folks like Hero and Epoch felt like, no, we should give people more. We should kind of create more forums for people in Cardano to interact with. And so they, came up with Cardano Over Coffee. And I remember I spoke with Hero in depth about how to lead the direction for Cardano Over Coffee. So if anyone remembers the early days, I was more present then than I am now. But the focus was to kind of be a forum for people to come in and learn about Cardano the right way, to be non-speculative about it, but also to be very honest and be disseminated about everything around Cardano. And that's all that Cardano Over Coffee is. Thankfully, it's been this Monday show, Monday to Friday, that gets people's day started. You're going to work, you're coming from your graveyard shift, whatever. There's something you can listen to that aligns with, like, what you're into in terms of blockchain, crypto, and everything that's, modern tech, if you will. So that's what Cardano Over Coffee is running on. Now, is Swarm an MBO? Like the MBO for 1694, there's one MBO. That's one member-based organization. And each member can be different. It can be one single entity, or it can be a group of people. Now, platforms like Swarm and Cardano Over Coffee are forums for discussions, forums to kind of exchange information and really kind of reach consensus on various topics, if you will. That's the primary thing. But the secondary thing that these platforms can be, or these groups of collectives can be, are individual participants or individual members in this would-be members-based organization. So you can have members-based organization be made of DC Spark, be made of Cardano Over Coffee, be made of, Swarm, be made of, Team A, Team B, NFA, whatever. And these are people who come in with ideas based on the discussions they have with their community. So, if you go to other spaces, they don't talk about the stuff that we talk about here in Cardano Over Coffee. So, yeah.
So does that answer your question, Wawa? Or do you want to go back even further?
No, I think it kind of, it got hijacked a little bit, but I was just wondering, my understanding was not that there was only going to be one MBO. I thought it was plurality.
Yeah, like it's gonna split. Like everything that should have one kind of like will derive from that. You mean like kind of sub? I think so, and I think each organization has to kind of work towards what that's gonna be, right? I don't know. I'm just I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, great back. Think of the UN. Okay, you have the UN, but then you also have you have
Emmanuel?
UNESCO.
Yeah, Emmanuel. We have hands. You had your chance to explain it.
Sorry. All right, yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Who's next? Eki, you haven't spoken yet. Go ahead, please.
Man, what's up, man? Thank you for having me. Man, I just had some bad news for you guys. BlockJock just filed for bankruptcy, and I lost a gang of goddamn money, man. So if y'all don't know about it, I just got an email about 20 minutes ago. Just want to share it with you guys.
BlockJock?
Yes, it did, man. I'm fucking pissed. I don't really usually ever speak on here, but I'm hot right now. I couldn't even believe it.
Wow.
Dude,
you
got to come into Cardano Over Coffee more often, because we've been talking about that in other spaces for about a week now. So prior to them actually filing. So,
Yeah, but it actually happens. It was like there was a feeling that something was going on, but this really sucks, and I'm sorry for anyone who's affected over this. Another reason why, keep your ADA. Keep your ADA.
Emmanuel
Keep your
was
own
blocked
data.
by. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Big Joe, what are you trying to start here?
Wait, Emmanuel's blocked by? I had no idea, Emmanuel. You want to speak
Okay. This is not funny. Let's get to the people who hasn't spoken yet.
And anyone who has spoke already that can give a space to the people that are trying to come up. I want to let Chatty just be able to speak his piece before we shut down the space.
And Chatty, do not put any Emmanuel when you get up here, please.
Let's go, Chatty.
Karma,
let me substitute with Chatty. Let me substitute with Chatty. We'll do it like football.
Yeah! And Icky, we do sympathize with you, though, and we're with you on this, and each one of us has experienced some sort of loss in crypto, and so you're not alone in that.
Karma, did you still want to say something? And then Jonathan?
I know you guys were trying to end the show really quickly. I do want to say something really positive about the show itself. And I get a little choked up about this, guys. But it is, Graybeard, you should maybe take a note about what I'm going to say. I would not be Lipo Essentials today. I would not be running this company. I would not own Lipo Essentials. I would not have ventured into this scary world of nutrition and supplements had it not been for this show that we are on right now. The idea to acquire this brand and this company came directly from my baptism in Lipo Essentials when it was owned by a European team 1 year ago yesterday, actually, on Cardano Over Coffee. Hero and Epoch scheduled the team from Europe that owned Lipocentials to have their 15 minutes of fame. And they came on this show, and I asked a couple questions. I gave them a lot of kudos. We all did. We were excited about what they were building on Cardano. And from that little tiny seed, the idea never left me for a year to the point we're at today, where I own the company. Those guys have made a business decision to move on. They are dear friends of mine and will remain so for the rest of my life. They are very much an advocate of what I'm doing with the company and where I'm going to take it. And we've been talking for 6 months about this transition. And I'm very privileged to have known them from this show. And that never would have happened if this were a private, members-only organization, or in some way was not a public, I'll call it, radio show, where I could listen in while I was driving around New England. I could listen in, and that day in November, a year ago right now, I just happened to hear something that caught my mind in a big fucking way. And I am super thankful to Hero in particular, but also
Nice, man.
Epoch, who ran the show. The only reason I single them out is they ran the show at that time every single day. And it was up to them to decide who was legit and who wasn't. And they chose Lipocentials to come on the show and have their moment in the sun. And they did a phenomenal job, I felt, as did many other people. And
Very cool.
I got the
Congratulations,
idea
man.
from there.
Oh,
No,
That's
thanks,
awesome.
BlockJock. It's been a long journey, but that's the value of this show, guys. You should have sponsors someday. I hope you venture that way. And I would be proud to be a sponsor of the show someday, like I am now for Epoch's End. You know, it's just, it shows what can be done. It doesn't mean it's the only right way. There's a million other great things going on. But I'm just super excited that this show exists and is an avenue for some of us to learn about areas of commerce or areas of you know, activity that we didn't know anything about in the past. And I'm
Love
grateful. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you, guys.
On
We're
that
close
quick
to the end of the
note,
show here, yeah, right? So,
well, just to clarify some things, and we're glad Karma was able to get to where he is, in part of Cardano Over Coffee. One of the thing that I feel like maybe Jenny was a big energy in this, since we expanded beyond Epoch and Hero, is that we made it more open for projects to come on. Okay, so I just want to sort of scrub that statement of which project is legit and which project is not. We don't know which project is legit when they come on. Anybody can sign up to come on now. So definitely not investment advice. Now, I have kicked a project. I have ended an interview before because the project was very sketchy. About 7 minutes into the interview. So obviously, like, if someone came on and they were very sketchy, we will point that out. That's part of what the show is, right? Asking questions and sort of uncovering these things. But the projects that come on Cardano Over Coffee are not vetted. They are not endorsed. They are in no way to signal legitimacy or that you should give them your hard-earned ADA. Thank you very much. Who was next?
this is a public service announcement from Cardano.
Jonathan, did you want to say something? And then where did Chatty go?
Chatty
Hey.
is like get lost in the wormhole there.
Did we lose
Hi,
him?
Jonathan.
Is it okay if I shill my most recent project?
Not at all. Not even for 10 seconds.
Not 5. 8.
You can pin something.
You have 5.5 seconds.
And you can definitely schedule time so we can talk about your project for a good 25 minutes, and it'll be awesome.
This is just 10 seconds.
Feel free to pin something. And then come on the show if you want to talk about it. Did anybody else want to comment on the banter that was currently on topic before we close out the show?
Yeah, I think
when the impact of Cardano over coffee comes up, I don't even think the host and the co-host and everyone involved in Cardano over coffee realized like the Stoners Club started from Cardano over coffee. So it all comes full circle. Lipo Essentials, the European dudes who started that practiced on the Stoners Club the night before they went on Cardano over coffee to do a practice show, and they were so nervous. And I was so happy to be there to help them out with that. And so, like, the Stoners Club started from Cardano over coffee. It's the first time I came up as speaker and started learning about Cardano. And then NFA and Cardano Ministry, and man, the list goes on and on of so many spaces that have came from the Stoners Club, and the Stoners Club came from Cardano over coffee. So it's like the spider web just continues. Like a lot of stuff wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Cardano over coffee. So, I mean, that's why I still come here. You know, this isn't, I'm usually asleep at these hours in the morning, but when I am awake, I always find myself here.
You heard it here first. Ethereum came from Cardano over coffee. Big Joe said it. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Jenny, Big Joe, any last words?
Man, after Big Joe, like those words are just beautiful. I don't know. Thanks, man. Can you hear me? Am I rugging?
No, I can hear you. Sorry, am I talking to my wife off mute?
Yes. I love it. Okay, well, basically, yes. Stake your ADA, keep it safe right now. This is the time to really keep your money and don't be chasing high yield. It's a scary time. It's time to, just build, connect. And this is why we do this. And thanks for coming. We're going to be here the rest of the week until Friday and Monday again with a banter. See you tomorrow.
Okay, sorry, BlockJock. You're in the audience. This is what you get for rugging. This is Cardano over coffee. We're here Monday through Friday, 2:30 p.m. UTC. If you want to come on and talk about your project, you get 25 minutes. Hit the PFP. There is a link tree that has a link for you to sign up to come talk about your project. Don't forget Project Catalyst is on Wednesday. Look up Daniel Rebar and follow him. His profile has a newsletter you can subscribe to, and you will get those updates every Friday. See you tomorrow. Be safe.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day, everybody. Bye, Steffi.